Today I'll be sharing my story on how I ended up being a Nelson Mandela University on-campus resident, guys. So if you're a first-year student, you might relate to this and you might want to know how I was able to do it without any plan, without much of a research, but I ended up being on-campus resident, guys. So first thing that I want to say is that for me to actually be an Nelson Mandela University student, I actually applied online, which I was in a gap year. So when I was applying, I didn't see the option whereby you must apply for a res, for an on-campus res. So that led me to unfortunately not having a res. And then I waited until Jan, the day when the result came out, like the matric result came out for the 2024 students. That's when I also got my offer. I got accepted for my course. So I'm currently doing marketing. So I got accepted there. When I got accepted there, I eventually went on with the process of registering, and I clicked all the modules that I must do, and then everything was set. Now the problem was I didn't have accommodation, guys. So what I did was I decided to call the university straight. There were numbers which I was given by ChatGPT. So those numbers, they turned out to be, some they were working, some they were actually not working. But then I would call like 2 times, 3 times a day up until I got the necessary answer that I needed. When I called, one lady said I should come to school and they will assist me with accommodation. But then in my, when you ask like other learners, when you ask other students which are eventually from NMU, they will tell you that do not go to PE without without you securing an accommodation, because you might end up being in trouble. But then in my case, I was with my friend, so we decided to go to the campus from Limpopo, guys, all the way to Eastern Cape. We decided to go without accommodation. We only had like acceptance offers. We did register, everything was good on the registration, but now we don't have an accommodation. But we went there, guys. When we got there, immediately when we got to Central, there's a place called Central there. When you get there, you will find a lot of people saying, you can join our resident, you can join our off-campus resident. So when we got there, we asked those guys to say, are there any space available on campus? Then they told us that the space is no longer available because now they're just taking in students which already applied. Then I was like, how? But then anyways, they were like, come, we'll just place you in one of our resident, in our off-campus resident. So when we got there to the off-campus resident, I was not impressed at all due to how they were actually, conducting the place, how the place was actually, how they presented the place. I was not actually impressed. The way, table chairs, study areas and all those things, I was not impressed. But then I didn't have a choice. I was like, okay, fine, let me join this off-campus res. Now, my friend, on the other hand, he had an issue which he registered as a landlord, on the NSFAS portal. He registered as a landlord, and then with that issue, they were unable to place him. Then I was like, you know what, before you can place me, let me wait for my friend to actually have his problem solved. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be placed alone, because I came with my friend here. So why you wanna separate us? Then in the end, I received a call from one of my schoolmate. He told me that she told me that she's studying at Nelson Mandela University. And then when I asked her about off-campus resident, she was like, nah, just go to school immediately. When you get there, you will find the necessary help that you need. So we decided to go to school. When we went to North Campus from Central. When we got to North Campus, no, we went to South Campus actually. We went to South Campus. When we got to South Campus, they were like, nah, man. It was around 6 p.m. now. It was getting late because I think we arrived at PE around 12, and then we spent I think the entire hours at that place, the off-campus resident place there, up until around 6, we decided to, you know what, we decided to go like to school. Let us just go to school and let's see what's gonna happen there. When we got to school, they were like, we're not taking anyone here, we're not dealing with residences, but you can go to this place. They were actually referring to SSV. So SSV is another on-campus resident that I know. So that on-campus, it is actually dealing with mostly second years, third years, and fourth years. Yeah. So when we got there, they were like, nah, here we only take, you know, like we don't take first years, like, yeah. So but then they were like, you can just go to this place. They were referring to New Res. So New Res campus, New Res phase 3, it is actually a res that is actually taking first years. They specialize with first years mostly. You do find second years and third years, but mostly they take first years. So we're like, when we got there, they were like, are you here, like, did you register like online? We're like, nah, we didn't register. Then they were like, guys, you are supposed to register in order to be placed here. So if you didn't register online, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's go to the office. Then we went to the office. When we got there, it was not something that is difficult. They were just like, tell me your student number. I told them my student number. My friend did the same thing, and then they were like, then it was like, okay. Then they went on to say, no, go to the rest manager, and then she will tell you what's your room number. When we got there, they told us our room number. They were like 0102C. Just go there and everything is set. I was like, everything is set for sure. They were like, yeah, man, you just got in. I was like, Evan, fast. So with that, man, like, we got placed into an on-campus resident. But one thing for sure, guys, that I learned with this thing is that, hey, because coming like from Limpopo, like all the way to Port Elizabeth without accommodation was something that is risky, guys. But we took that risk. When we got there, we got the help that we needed. We almost stayed in an off-campus resident, but fortunately our lucks can never be the same. I was placed in an on-campus resident and I was actually happy, and currently I'm going to serve my second year in an on-campus resident, obviously. So if you want more questions in the commentary section that I can answer, you know, you just gotta place like some few questions in the commentary section, then I'll be able to answer you. It is your boy KB and signing out.